that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the ones who died and gave that right to me. And I'd gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
And thank you very much for coming out today to the 2025 Observance of Veterans Day for the city of Tullahoma. My name is Lyle Russell, and I will be your MC today. And there are so many people that I have to thank for all the work that goes into putting this program on. And so if I have omitted anyone either on the program or if I failed to say your name, please understand that that is my fault. But I really am grateful for all of the hands and ideas and hearts and minds that go into putting this program on in celebration of our veterans. So thank you all very much for that. At this time, I would like to go ahead and call the event to order and ask for the Tullahoma Fire Department Color Guard to present our colors.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sergeant at Arms, would you please post the POW flag? Before the stage today stands a table. This table is reserved to honor our fallen and missing loved ones. The empty seat represents Americans still missing from our ranks. This symbolizes that they are here with us in spirit. We should never forget the brave men and women who answered our nation's call and served the cause of freedom. The table is round to show our everlasting concern for our missing soldiers and sailors. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when answering the call of duty. The single red rose displayed in a vase reminds us of the life of each of the missing and of their friends and loved ones who keep the faith awaiting answers. The candle is tied with a yellow ribbon, a symbol that the home fires still burn for continued determination to account for our missing. A slice of lemon on the bread plate is to remind us of the bitter fate of those captured and missing, and that paid the ultimate price for freedom, both at home and abroad. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears endured by those missing and their families who seek answers. The glass is inverted. This symbolizes their inability to share in the events that we hold in honor of their service. Again, the chair is empty. They are missing. The city of Tullahoma remembers them, and this Veterans Day we honor them.
Permit me, before the invocation, to share something with you. Prior to our Veterans Day observance today, I shared this with one of our veterans who's in the audience, and I plan to give it to him following our observance here. I have done things that haunt me at night so you can sleep in peace. I have been away from my family a long time so that yours can be safe. I have sacrificed a lot in my life so that you may live free. I have done these things because I have sworn an oath to my country. And I will live by this oath until the day I die, because I am and always will be a United States veteran. I invite you now to bow your heads in prayer. Our Father and our God, we turn to you in this hour, mindful of the men and women who have served and who continue to serve this great nation through our armed forces. For the unsung heroes of our nation who have risked or even given their lives for us and for the cause of freedom, we praise you for their courage, their unwavering commitment, and their service. For our veterans gathered here this morning, for our veterans who are lonely, who are displaced in our world today, for those in a VA, in a hospital, a nursing home. Tend to them as you have promised, assuring them that you are their good shepherd and great physician, and that you will never leave them nor forsake them. For those who continue to serve, we give thanks to you. Bless the men and women who serve within our borders and who are scattered throughout the world. For those, O Lord, who have lost a loved one, a father, a son, a daughter, that you bind up the brokenhearted with your comfort, with your peace, and with your strength. And give to each one of us gathered here today renewed strength, that we may serve you and serve our neighbor as never before. We ask these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. Amen. You may be seated.
Would like to thank the THS Brass Ensemble for their rendition, the Tullahoma Fire Department Color Guard, also Mr. Jeffrey Schofield, Post Vice Commander for American Legion Post 43, and also to Chaplain Nutter for that great invocation that we just had. And it is now my pleasure to introduce our Mayor, Mr. Lynn Seaborn, with our opening remarks.
Thank you. It's a great honor to be here today. I'm not a veteran, but it has been my privilege in my career to work with many veterans in the defense industry. And Tullahoma is known as a defense town. I was very happy when I heard our speaker was going to be General Burton this morning. General Burton's a great man. I know that because his mom told me so. Whatever Miss Peggy Burton says, I believe. But the other thing I think about him when I think about it is I always see him with his family, usually here to see one of Peggy's shows, or the shows that we do now, continuing on in Peggy's legacy. Now I wanted to share just a brief comment about my family for Veterans Day, if you'll indulge me. My grandfather, my mom's dad, served in World War II, and he and my grandmother, as was the occasion, grew up in southeast Missouri in Boot Heel, so that's the little part that sticks down at the bottom if you're not familiar with that term. That is flat country. That is like Kansas flat. That's, back then, was cotton, and now it's cotton, soybean, and watermelon country. So they were farmers. Everybody there was farming. My grandparents got engaged at the cafeteria table of their little tiny high school, I think their junior year in high school. And then he dropped out of high school and went to work, because that's what you did back then. You didn't need a degree to farm. And then he got drafted. And he drove gasoline trucks in the supply line headed east towards the front during World War II. He never spoke much about it. I think I'll remember one time him ever giving us any kind of details about the things he did, talking about he was driving a truck full of gasoline and some Panzer tanks came across their path up ahead of them. And as you can imagine, you probably don't want to be in a truck full of gasoline with the Germans. But he arrived home. But my mom was back there, and I cannot remember now whether she was born just before or just after, but she had never really met him the whole time he's gone. And she recorded for us a few years back, about 30 years ago, she recorded some of her memories of being a child. And I want to read this section here. She says, Daddy comes home. She says, I don't think I really missed Daddy while he was in the Army. I didn't really know what a daddy was, except that perhaps my cousins had him. I was surrounded with so much love that I didn't know there was more to be had. I do remember learning that my daddy was coming home on a hip. She goes, I guess I couldn't say the SH sound when I was about 3. I had no concept of how large a ship was or how much water there must be for it to take days to cross it. With people talking about the boys going across the big pond, I guess that's what I really imagined when I thought about it. I enjoyed playing in water, which had been set out in the sun to warm for my bath about the time everyone was excited about his coming home. I don't remember Daddy actually coming home for the first time, but that was for sure the first time I saw him. I do remember sitting in my little red rocking chair holding this fantastic doll he had brought for me, and I knew I was going to like it. The doll could say mama, she had teeth, a pacifier that could be put in her mouth and she could open and close her eyes. I never dreamed a doll could be made to do that. She had on such pretty clothes with a real sweater and a cap set. My mother is now 82 years old, and she still has that doll. One of her most prized possessions of her memory for the first time she made a fall. And that's a common story across veterans. We appreciate veterans for what they face in battle, but all veterans, I think, have that missed anniversaries and missed birthdays, and in many cases, even missed births. And so to both the veterans and the families here this morning, City of Tullahoma would like to say thank you. We appreciate your service in all the ways that it occurs. And may God bless our veterans. May God bless our veterans' families. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you indulge me a moment, I just need to move this to the side. So one of the many challenges that I usually go through with this program, and some of it is self-inflicted, is organizing speakers and so on to make the program meaningful. And there are times where the circumstances don't necessarily allow you to do that, and so you have to become your own speaker. My grandfather was a United States Marine. He passed away in 1992, the year I graduated high school. And I got to spend a few years with him before he passed away, and he was very big on symbology. And I think that that has carried over to me because I am also very big on it. And being a Marine, as you know, the Marine Corps, the globe with the eagle that sits atop of the anchor, he always told me, never really told me why, but I remember specifically him telling me that his favorite part of that was the eagle. And so that was the inspiration for this presentation that I'm about to give to you today. So the American bald eagle captivates us for reasons that blend both natural magnificence and cultural symbolism. Physically, these raptors are stunning, with wingspans reaching over 7 feet, piercing yellow eyes, and that iconic contrast of brilliant white and dark against, a brilliant white head and tail against dark brown plumage. Beyond their physical attributes, however, much of the bald eagle's majesty comes from what it represents, specifically to us as Americans. Between 1776 and 1782, 3 different committees attempted to design a device to serve as the seal of the newly formed United States of America. That first committee was made up of historic heavyweights such as Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson. They began a process that would culminate in a final design, finally accepted by Congress in June of 1782. Congressional Secretary Charles Thompson submitted the Great Seal design, making the central figure an American bald eagle, adorned with a shield containing 13 alternating red and white stripes, clutching an olive branch in its right talon and a bundle of arrows in its left, with a banner in its beak proclaiming E pluribus unum, out of many, one. William Barton, an artistically gifted Philadelphia lawyer, was employed to refine Thompson's sketches, and that rendition, as you can see there, remains our seal today, with the American bald eagle at the center. So for 6 long years in 1783, beginning in 1783, the members of Congress held a bitter dispute over what this national emblem should be. It wasn't until 1789, some 6 years later, that the bald eagle was finally chosen to represent the new nation. One of the most prominent opponents to this was Benjamin Franklin, and many of you may know what his choice was the wild turkey. And interestingly enough, that is the first day that I met General Burton, that I'm sure he may mention when he comes up to speak today. But not all of Congress shared Benjamin Franklin's sentiments, so bald eagles, like other eagles worldwide, had been seen as symbols of strength, courage, freedom, and even immortality for generations. And unlike other eagles, the bald eagle was indigenous to North America only. So you may be saying to yourself that this is good information to know, but what does all of this have to do with Veterans Day? Well, let me introduce you to a bald eagle who was known as Old Abe. Old Abe is an icon in Civil War history, and it was an American bald eagle who served with the 8th Wisconsin Volunteer Infantry Regiment, the Eau Claire Eagles. He participated in over 30 battles, narrowly avoiding wounds on several occasions. During the war, he became a rallying point to Union troops and an anathema to the Confederate soldiers, who set bounties on the bird that they called the Yankee buzzard, and his service during and after the war resulted in widespread fame. It is estimated that the eagle was a hatchling in 1860, which is just before the war broke out, and he was removed from the nest by a Native American Chippewa chief named Chief Sky. Through trades for bushels of corn, the eaglet found himself in the possession of a shopkeeper who sold the bird to the 8th Wisconsin Regiment for $2.50, while the regiment was forming up in 1861. During their basic training at Camp Randall in Madison, Wisconsin, the eagle was named Old Abe after President Abraham Lincoln. And from there, Old Abe went to war. Old Abe saw his share of fighting during his time in service. The first major action, the 8th Wisconsin experience took place at Frederickstown, Missouri in 1861. He was present for a total of 37 battles across Missouri, Mississippi, and Louisiana for the next 3 years, to include such hard-fought campaigns as Corinth, Mechanicsburg, Vicksburg, and Pleasant Hill. During the war, there were 5 veterans who were given the honorary duty of being the Eagle Bearer. While being the Eagle Bearer was never an official Union Army rank, it was created as an honorary position, and it was highly sought after by the soldiers for 2 reasons. First, the title was an honor to hold and be Old Abe's protector during battle. Second, the Eagle Bearer was spared guard duty. While Old Abe was never seriously wounded, he had many close calls, and at the Battle of Corinth, a minie ball severed the cord that connected him to his perch, setting him loose on the battlefield. Old Abe flew down the Federal line with the Eagle Bearer, David McLean, chasing after him, and upon seeing the famed eagle flying down the enemy lines, many Confederate soldiers attempted to shoot him. Confederate General Sterling Price, upon seeing Old Abe raise the spirits of the Union line, offered a bounty to his men for the capture of that eagle, dead or alive. According to the story, he stated that Old Abe was worth more to Union morale than a whole brigade or a dozen battle flags. And while the 8th was in camp in Corinth in 1862, Thomas Hill, again the Eagle Bearer, gave Old Abe a day off the tether. This liberty allowed Old Abe to cause a great deal of mischief, which, from what I'm told, some veterans tend to do when they have free time on their hands. Some of his adventures in the camp included tipping over fire buckets, which made everyone mad who had to refill them. Chasing small mice or birds that caught his eye through the camp, he learned to play catch with soldiers with minie balls that they rolled along the ground. He visited the sutler's tent, he ambushed freshly laundered clothes, and raiding the meat provisions of companies when they left them unattended. And it was also reported that Old Abe became drunk on at least 2 occasions from unattended alcohol. That must be something, a drunk eagle running around camp. Old Abe also enjoyed the opportunity to be near water anytime he could, where the soldiers would allow him some freedom to catch his own fish and also fish for them. His other documented very close call came at the Battle of Vicksburg. During the siege, a Confederate bullet grazed the eagle's neck and chest, removing the feathers along its path, and had the ball hit at even a slightly different angle, he would most likely have been seriously wounded or killed. Instead, he merely suffered a small wound in the webbing of his wing, and that left a bullet hole for the rest of his life. According to records, neither he nor any of the Eagle Bearers after that ever suffered any significant injury. The 8th's initial 3-year enlistment came to an end in the summer of 1864, and Old Abe joined those re-enlisting soldiers on their trip back to Wisconsin for furlough. But when they returned back to the field later on that year, the men who remained in camp did not recognize him. You may know this, but eagles do not get their white head and tail feathers until they're between 4 and 5 years old. Well, Old Abe had reached maturity while they were away. So the soldiers decided in camp at that time that because he had made it that far, that he was no longer going to be required to re-enlist. They struggled to choose a permanent home for him, and at the end, a unanimous vote from the entire regiment presented Old Abe to the authorities for the state of Wisconsin. So in 1864, Old Abe was reclassified as a war relic, and newly created Eagle Department in the Capitol building in Wisconsin included a caretaker, a 2-room apartment, and a custom bathtub for Old Abe to live out his remaining years. He became known as a national celebrity, with individuals and organizations from around the state and around the country requesting his presence at events. Many were either Civil War veteran reunions, fundraisers for various veterans charities, and one included the Philadelphia Centennial in 1876. So for all those years and all the things that he did, a small fire broke out in the basement of the Capitol in February of 1881. And after Old Abe raised the alarm, alerting people to the fire, it was put out quickly that he had inhaled a large amount of thick black smoke, and it immediately had a negative impact on his health. About a month later, in March of 1881, Old Abe died in the arms of his final caretaker, George Gills of the 2nd Wisconsin Volunteer Infantry. Following his death, veterans from all over Wisconsin volunteered to serve as pallbearers at Old Abe's funeral. Governor Smith at that time decided on taxidermy instead and allowed people to see this legendary bird in future generations. So he was displayed in the Capitol building, the Grand Army of the Republic Memorial Hall, the State Historical Society, and on the University of Wisconsin-Madison campus before finally returning to the Capitol building in 1900, where another fire in 1904 finally destroyed his remains in the entire Capitol building. His story became legend, and Old Abe himself became a symbol of the Civil War and the ideals of patriotism and bravery. Though his remains were lost, Old Abe lived on in many symbols throughout the country, even to this day. His likeness sits atop the 8th Wisconsin Monument at Vicksburg. A 47.5-foot granite column is topped by a 6-foot bronze statue of him. A granite carving of Old Abe sits atop the arch at Camp Randall Memorial Park in Wisconsin in 1912. A thresher machine manufacturing company, the J.I. Case Company, used Old Abe's likeness on their logo for over 100 years. In addition, the Wisconsin Veterans Museum preserves a substantial amount of Old Abe manuscript and photos, original papers, that remark all the interesting things about this unique avian figure in U.S. history. In a tie with Tullahoma and Camp Forest, Old Abe's foot was used as the shoulder patch of the U.S. Army's 17th Airborne Division, known as the Golden Talons. This division insignia is Old Abe's golden talon on a circular black background that signifies surprise. The talon foot implies the seizing of a golden opportunity through surprise, and the motto of the 17th Airborne Division was Thunder from Heaven. The Golden Talons trained at Camp Forest from February to August of 1944 before deploying to Europe. The men of the 17th Division played a pivotal role in the Battle of the Bulge and in Operation Varsity, parachuting into the heart of Germany near the end of the war. Afterward, the unit was deactivated in 1949. However, the most famous image of Old Abe is the shoulder patch for the U.S. Army's 101st Airborne Division. Organized for World War I and then reorganized in 1921 with its headquarters in Milwaukee, the men heard stories of Old Abe, and the unit quickly adopted an insignia with a white eagle above flames on a royal blue shield background. Later, the flames were removed, and the blue shield was replaced by a black shield that you see today. The airborne tab is now above was added in 1942. The 101st Airborne Screaming Eagles also trained in Tennessee during World War II in the Tennessee maneuvers, and this patch is still being used by that unit today. The bald eagle first appeared as an American symbol on a Massachusetts copper cent coined in 1776, ironic. Then as the centerpiece of our Great Seal in 1782, and finally as America's national symbol since 1789. The bald eagle embodies ideals of freedom, strength, and independence. The remarkable comeback from near extinction in the 1960s to thriving numbers today, in addition to the contributions of individual birds like Old Abe, adds a layer of triumph to their story. President John F. Kennedy wrote, to the Audubon Society in 1960 saying, "The founding fathers made an appropriate choice when they selected the bald eagle as the emblem of our nation. The fierce beauty and proud independence of this great bird aptly symbolizes the strength and freedoms of America." So if you're ever lucky enough to see one, there's something deeply moving about watching a bald eagle in the wild, whether it's the fierce focus as it hunts, the tender care that it shows its young, or simply the regal stillness as it surveys the domain in all it sees from its high perch. This combination of raw natural power and symbolic weight makes the bald eagle truly majestic in the American imagination. And I would hope that my grandfather, Major Gerald E. Thompson, United States Marine Corps, would appreciate that presentation. So thank you all very much. At this time, I would like to invite up to the stage to raise our spirits a rendition of the Armed Forces Medley and God Bless the USA by Mr. Lloyd Smith.
Down all things were gone. I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank the Lord above for living here today, 'cause this flag still stands for freedom, and you can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the ones who died who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, from New York to LA, there's pride in every American heart, and I'm proud to stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the ones who died and gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. The USA.
All right, that should get your blood pumping just a little bit there. Thank you very much, Mr. Smith, for that. It's always hard to do that a cappella too, so it's being extraordinary, it's just an extra level to that. It is my great pleasure now to introduce to you our guest speaker for today. That would be Brigadier General Retired, Mr. J.B. Burton. On the reverse of the program would be his bio, and I will read just one small part of it. A native of Tullahoma, Tennessee, General Burton holds a Bachelor of Arts from Middle Tennessee State University and master's degrees in National Security and Strategic Studies, Military Art and Science, Human Resource Management, and from the Army U.S. Command and General Staff College. His military decorations include the Distinguished Service Medal, the Silver Star, Defense Superior Service, Combat Infantryman Badge with Star, and the German Army Silver Cross of Honor, among others. He remains a passionate advocate for veterans and military families, and that is exactly why I am so very proud to introduce to you, Brigadier General Retired, Mr. J.B. Burton.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. What a great day. I did not realize I was going to be absconded into singing this morning. But what a tremendous performance, Mr. Smith. Holy moly. You know, as I travel down life's road, I realize that every year I need a bigger jacket, not just because I'm eating a little bit too much, but I had to carry other things around with me that I didn't have to carry around with me before. I'm going to go a couple of places today, and hopefully you'll go along with me. Lyle asked me to speak about a week and a half ago, and I said, sure, let me do that. And then he said, well, you know, our other guest speaker is not here, so you're going to have to cover for that as well. So we agreed that I would be up here for about an hour and 15 minutes in order to pay appropriate homage to the seriousness of today. That's not true, at least the timing. And the other thing, Lyle told a bit of a fib this morning. He and I actually did not meet with Benjamin Franklin back in Benjamin Franklin's day to talk about the wild turkey being the symbol of our great nation. But he did happen to venture out to Miss Peggy's house one day to help us try to wrangle up a one-legged turkey that happened upon our land there. It was causing us much concern about that turkey's ability to survive the night. I'm sure that turkey did just fine and found its way to somebody's dinner table somewhere down the road. So it's a great honor to be here today, not just as a veteran, but as a grateful citizen of this great republic, humbled by the legacy of service and the day that this day represents. It's a great day. It's a great day to be an American. It's a great day to be celebrating Veterans Day 2025 right here in the great state of Tennessee and at South Jackson Performing Arts Center here in Tullahoma, Tennessee. Today is the day we gather to honor those men and women who've worn the cloth of our nation, who've handed Uncle Sam a blank check, and then chose to go forward in harm's way to protect and defend this great republic against all enemies. And today is a day to consider why that matters. And I want to take us down a little wandering trail here about why I think that matters. To the veterans here among us, thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. Similarly to the families of those veterans who supported those who donned the cloth of the nation. Thank you for your sacrifices, too often unheralded. They too matter. And to the veteran service organizations, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, and so many others, thank you for all that you do to support our vets and their families as they transition from oftentimes a lifetime of service into a brand new world that they have to navigate. So I thought about what I was going to say today, and I had built a speech that I thought was pretty dang good. And then yesterday, I had the great opportunity to participate in listening in on a veteran celebration with some of my industry colleagues. And in that, some very important points were driven home that I thought I should spend a little bit of time talking about today. Their stories reminded me of some things that oftentimes go unspoken, but I think that we all as Americans should remember. And I want to start with a simple and sobering fact. About 6% of all Americans have ever worn the uniform of the armed services. That's it. And at any given time, less than 1% of our nation is serving on active duty in the reserves or in the National Guard. Less than 1% of our 343 million American citizens. Our veterans come from across multiple branches of the Department of War, the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, Space Force. By the way, Marines, how many Marines are out there? Happy birthday, Devil Dogs. Semper Fi, brother. Each service has a beginning, whether it's the Marines at Toon Tavern in Philadelphia. What a great place for the Marines to begin, right? In a bar, in Philadelphia. Hey, let's go do some stuff. All right, come on, show us Marine Corps. Or whether it was the United States Army under the signature of the Continental Congress that said, hey, let's get all these militias together under common commander. Let's go fight these Brits for a little while. Regardless of branch, veterans and the service that those veterans served under, all had a similar beginning as an individual. And all began their service with somebody of higher authority saying, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear to protect and defend this nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic, to bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and then whether an enlisted soldier or an officer, your oath goes a little bit different path. But that sacred oath to defend the Constitution of the United States, to bear true faith and allegiance to the same, starts on that day, but has no ending. It constitutes a lifetime of service.
I remember the first time I took that oath. I was young, proud, naive, full of pea and vinegar, and headed out to change the world. And over the years, I've had the honor of administering that same oath to others. I've seen the same fire in their eyes, that moment when a young American chooses duty over comfort. It is sacred, and it matters, and it's the heartbeat of our republic. It's powerful that our nation still produces such patriots, and something I think we should all be proud of and especially thankful for. So on Sunday, when 600 Americans voluntarily took the oath of enlistment and were loudly booed by the spectators in the crowd, during what should have been a solemn and prideful moment for this nation, I was saddened and I was ashamed. And some say, well, it's freedom of expression. And so be it. But as I consider the actions of the spectators of that humble ceremony who chose that moment to voice their discontent about whatever they were discontent about, I was reminded of a poem by Charles M. Province that I've taken some liberties with, and if you bear with me. It is the veteran, not the minister, who protects our freedom of religion. It is the veteran, not the reporter, who gives us the freedom of the press. The veteran, not the poet, who gives us freedom of speech. Not the campus organizer who has given us the freedom to assemble or protest. It is the veteran and not the lawyer who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the veteran, not the politician, who gives us the right to vote. And it is the veteran who salutes the flag, serves under the flag, and whose coffin is ultimately draped by the flag, who allows that protester to voice their discontent in a National Assembly of 600 young Americans who said, I will go for all of us. God bless those 600. I'm sorry, that means something to me. You know, there's a spot in this town that many folks may drive by or walk by daily and never pay much attention to. Its presence doesn't scream, look at me. Instead, quietly located just a few blocks down the road. Alongside an old caboose is a brick walkway that speaks volumes about this community. It's your history park, or as many call it, Caboose Park. It's not just a green space, but a living monument to Tullahoma's military history and to this great nation. The heart of that walk is Veterans Memorial Walk with a 69-foot sidewalk with over 500 engraved bricks, each bearing the name of a veteran of this community. And of those 500 engraved bricks, they represent thousands of years of combined military service. Think about that. In this small Middle Tennessee town of just over 21,000 great Americans, this community has etched into stone a legacy that spans generations, conflicts, and continents. Each brick tells a story, with the names of those who served in the world wars of our nation, in Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Iraq, Panama, Somalia, and Afghanistan, and myriad other untold places across this globe, all under the colors of this great nation. Other stones honor those still serving and those who never came home. And did you know, maybe you do and maybe you don't, that the sale of those bricks, this town didn't just build a memorial. It built a future by funding a memorial scholarship helping children of veteran families pursue higher education. And that is a tremendous testament to service and what service looks like in Tullahoma. Not just honoring the past, but investing in the next generation. So I encourage you, all of you, to spend some time there. Bring your family and friends. Take the time to read the stones and consider what happened in that dash between the dates of service and where those veterans might have served. Take the time to remember, honor, and teach, and let the names speak to you. Let them remind you that our freedom as Americans is preserved not just on distant battlefields, but right here, brick by brick, name by name, and sacrifice by sacrifice. And then take a minute to reflect on those who served quietly, came home humbly, built this community, and now call this community home. Their stories may not be in the history books, but they live in our neighborhoods, our churches, our schools, and they deserve our thanks. So, why does service matter? And it sounds like a cheap bumper sticker, but freedom isn't free. And protecting this American way of life, this great republic of ours, is not a passive affair. This year, our nation celebrated the 250th birthday of our Army, our Navy, and our Marine. 250 years of service to this nation. 250 years of young Americans saying, take me, I will go. I will serve something larger than myself. I will give to this government and its elected officials a blank check with my name written on it. And I will go there voluntarily. And if I don't come back, remember my family and bury me with honor. Our republic's future is preserved by measurable and visible strength. And strength is forged in the voluntary service of free people who take that oath, those that represent that less than 1%, who serve past, present, and future. They are the guarantors of our nation's sovereignty. So to the veterans in the crowd here, thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. To the young recruits who just signed that dotted line, regardless of the welcome they got, we stand with you. We are proud of you, and as a nation, we are indebted to you for the service that you're about to embark upon to protect all that we hold dear. This Veterans Day, we honor the courage, the service, and the enduring example of our veterans. To the families that stood beside the vets who carried the weight and worry and who waited for the word, you're a part of this legacy, and we thank you. With gratitude in our hearts and purpose in our steps, let us all teach, serve, and remember. And may we each be the type of citizen that our veterans fought to protect. So happy Veterans Day, Tullahoma. May we always be a town that remembers. May we always be a nation that honors, and may God continue to bless our veterans, our families, and this great United States of America. Thanks so very much.
Thank you, General Burton. Before we move on to the next segment of our program, I would like to tell you about two items that we will have going on, or excuse me, three items that we will have going on at the end of our program today. First, here in the South Jackson Performing Arts Center, you may remember the Mitchell Museum that's just down the hall. Well, the center, along with several volunteers and people who have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that set of rooms down there, have remodeled it, and it is going to be reopened officially as the Tullahoma Museum of History and Culture and it is open today. So at the end of the program, please feel free to head down there and see the hard work that all of those folks have done to keep our Tullahoma history preserved and displayed for all to see. Also, right out in front of the building here, Troop 2163, from the Girl Scouts of America will be giving out cookies. These are at no cost. Don't get your wallets out. They will be giving out cookies and some treats to everyone who is present today if they would like to take some home. And then finally, our veterans and their spouses are invited to join us in the snack bar area to the left over here for lunch. It will be served. We have box lunches for you. So thank you for that. When I was in charge of this program last year, one of the things I really wanted to make sure that we kept alive in this was some of our musical performances. And several years ago, the gentleman you're about to hear, I heard your performance, South Jackson Goes Country, and I absolutely love the song that you're about to hear. It's my pleasure to introduce you to United States Marine Corps veteran Curtis Heiss with an original performance.
Sid, before you start the music, just a little bit about this song. If you were here last year, you've heard it before. A few years ago, I had the privilege of attending a music therapy retreat for veterans put on by an organization called Music Therapy Retreats. They gather these veterans together and give them a free guitar and teach them a little bit about how music can be used as a therapeutic tool and team you up with a Nashville songwriter to write a song. And that's where this song was written. It's called You Don't Have to Be Strong Anymore. Lloyd, fantastic job on your song, especially the Marines hymn. That was probably the best I could. And the acapella rendition of God Bless America, just beautiful. And General Burton, fantastic speech. I want to thank General Burton for opening up for me in my opening act. I think that's probably the first time I've had General open for a sergeant, so thank you for that. All right, Sid. You're trained and you're taught to never retreat. Surrender's a word you will not repeat. But I'm telling you that your battle's been won. So lay down your armor and come home, my son. You defended our nation. You stood on the wall with your sisters and brothers. You gave it your all. And now your tour has ended. So come home from war. You don't have to be strong anymore. Fears and your doubts keep you awake. You're afraid you're becoming something you hate. Listen, my friend, I've been in your boots. Reach out a hand, I'm right here for you. You defended our nation. You stood on the wall with your sisters and brothers. Gave it your all. Now your tour has ended. So come home from war. You don't have to be strong anymore. Amazing grace is more than a song. Our God our God is strong. No matter your deeds or what you have done, redemption is yours through God's only Son. You defended our nation, stood on the wall with your sisters and brothers. You gave it your all. Now your tour has ended. Come home from war. You don't have to be strong anymore. You don't have to be strong anymore.
Thank you, Curtis. When I first texted him and asked him to do that today, the one-word reply almost instantly was, sure. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Next up, Mr. John Gray, who many of you know, brings one of the most solemn parts of our program every year. Unfortunately, as time marches on, we do lose some of the veterans from our ranks, the people that we know, people that we've worked with, people that we love. And we have our local veterans final roll call, and for that I would like to please ask Mr. John Gray to join me at the podium. Thank you.
It's my honor to be here today. The shoes left behind. The question's been asked so many times, who's going to keep the flag high? Up in the wind like our heroes did, to follow as we watched it fly. As they pass along in the midst of the song, someone must finish the rhythm and rhyme. The lessons they taught, the battles they fought, have fitted you for the shoes left behind. Wearing the shoes left behind, being a torch in the night, how can you ever measure up and match the blazing light that their legacy left for you to see? Knowing that you would find in the memories all you would need to wear the shoes left behind. At times they loom large, at times the pressure squeezed tight, but the more you walk the roads they trod, the more the fit feels right. As hard as it seems, follow your dreams because you are one of a kind. Embrace each morn because you were born to wear the shoes left behind. With regret for lives lost and respect for the lives that they lived, I read the names of those who have left their shoes behind since last we met. James A. Haynes, James C. Hart, Roy Charles Holder, James Matthew Worley, Walter Emmanuel Shaw, William Roger Maxey, Donald Ray Pennington, James LeBron Taylor, Glenn Charlton Hill, Richard William Pack, Jamie H. Horton, James Alton Austin Jr., Clarence C. Jackson Jr., John Riley Riddle Jr., Harold Edward Gulam, James Edwin Hickerson, Cody Wayne Breed, Gary Eugene Robinson, Thomas Engelberger, Dale Smith, Dominique Lewis Shaw, Bruce Miller, Kevin Clay, William Odell Crutchfield, Jerry Braston, Michael Head, Amber Yvette Goodwin, Patsy Riley, Steve Gillum, Carlos Cordova, Stephen R. Holt, Morris C., Terry Sanders, Glenn Reynolds, Gary Massingale, Roy Eckert, William Davis, Eugene Rainey, Clifford Mosley Jr., Charles Rogers, Robert Brinkley, Doyle Richardson, Richard Overton, John Cassidy, Donald Young, Larry Horsley, Billy Moorhead, James Michael Reynolds, Philip Dodson, David Rogers Dietz, Robert Koval, James Francis St. Pierre, Joel Castus Winton, Philip Ray Thomas, Brazen Trent Tanderack, and Arnold Clayton Turner gave to our country their life and their service where we can remain free. Thank you.
Thank you. Please be seated. It is that time of the program now. Before we come to a close, it's my pleasure to invite up Mr. Jason Quick, our City Administrator, to deliver our closing remarks.
You know, as I come up here, it dawns on me, there's no more solemn tune, if you will, than taps. And even if you have not served in the military, it still has a meaning to you and to me. I want to say thank you for everyone being here. The City of Tullahoma is always one that celebrates its veterans, not only one day, being today, but every day. I've noticed something though. How many of you realize that you can tell a veteran on Veterans Day because he puffs out that chest just a little bit more than he normally does. He sucks it in and puffs out that chest. Am I right? So I'm sitting here, and when our soloist was singing the songs of our military, my neighbor, getting ready to put his hat on right now, I tell you what, he had the energy and the strength of a young'un. I mean, he was doing all sorts, and the pride that you showed, sir, during that, the songs you were singing, I'm thinking, at first I thought, could he have been in every branch of the military? Because you know all the songs. But I'm like, no, he just knows all the songs. But also to share the stage with Brigadier General Bart Burton is something I never thought I would do. Bart is about 4 or 5 years older than me, but growing up in town, you were larger than life. You were. Bart had a face, he had a persona about him that Bart meant business no matter where he was or what he was doing. But I've got to admit something to you. Great speech, great everything. But you read his bio and all that, you're thinking, you know, Brr. And as soon as he got down to the stage, he looked at his lovely wife and goes, "Did I do okay?" So what we know is you may be a brigadier general and you may be commanding thousands of people, but we know you don't command your own house. And she's down here giving me the thumbs up. But I just want to say thank you. You know, when we think of all of Peggy Burton's pupils and all the impact that Peggy has had on the lives of so many people in here, we got to reminisce a little bit about I got to be in the first production back here, and I even told her the one line that I had in the play, and we started reminiscing about that. But then as everybody came up to sing, I thought, I wonder if Peggy's worked with this person. I wonder if Peggy's worked with that person. Everybody has a Peggy Burton story. But I think the greatest gift that you could have done for the city of Tullahoma is sitting right next to you. And I just want to say thank you again. I can't begin to sit and say that I understand what it means to be a military veteran. Many of us who have not had family members in the military or have not been in the military don't understand that. There are two words that I kept hearing over and over and over again. One of them is sacrifice. I want to read a poem to you, and this is for every military veteran in the room today. Thank you for your sacrifice. You gave your strength, your youth, and your time. You did a job not many will. You deserve our respect, and you do still. Though you didn't give your life, you were a willing soul. Only your brothers in combat, your suffering truly know. We love that you are here with us and honor who you are. A grateful nation appreciates every single scar that wrote upon the slate of you, though you were very brave. You came back to us a hero, but you're not quite the same. For you have learned to bear the weight of defending freedom's call, but you did come back, and that is what we give thanks for most of all. The other word that I kept hearing was service. How many of you have talked to someone who's a veteran and they told you they were in the service? They didn't say I was in the Army, the Marines, Coast Guard, Air Force. They said I was in the service, and I think that's the key word. It's not military, and it's not the branch, it's the word service. I was in the service. Service means so many things to so many of us, but I can't think of a greater example of service to the town of Tullahoma, Tennessee than the veterans who have lived here, who have served here after their active duty, and who continue to serve here. I started thinking about a lot of the service that the city of Tullahoma has and does. A lot of our community service, a lot of our organizations, they have been led and are still being led by people in the military. So even though you're not active service, and that's the other thing, I'm no longer actively serving, but you are serving. You serve every day. And you set the example for us. You set that bar. You set the standard that we try to find. And we try to meet. And I just want to say thank you to every veteran that's in this room. I want to say thank you to every family member, because when you think of sacrifice, you got to think of wives. Raise your hand. I did this last year. Raise your hand if you're the spouse of a service member. Thank you. I can only think, especially when I had younger children and I'm at work and my wife's at home, and I'm like, oh, I hope she's able to take care of the kids, and I hope she's able to get them to soccer practice, and I hope she's able to do this while I'm working a scant 15 minutes away. I can't imagine what it's like being 5,000 miles away and not being able to be there. But these wives, these spouses, they carried the torch. They took care of everything at home. That is just amazing work. And I just want to, again, I can't say enough about the spouses and the families. Thank you so much for being here. Greg, I want to say thank you for always opening up the Performing Arts Center to us. I want to say thank you to Lyle. Lyle puts so much work into this. He spends at least a month putting all of this together for you. I also want to say thank you. Think about this for a minute. Most every special occasion, every special moment that is celebrated or observed by the city of Tullahoma has one thing in common. That's our tremendous band. And it's being led by Justin Scott, who I got to tell you, coat and tie looks really good on you. I think this ought to be a daily routine for you now. But think about what Justin and his band does for us, and how they continue to add that extra special to our band. So I just want to say thank you, and I'm looking forward to the Christmas parade and seeing you guys marching down the street. So with that said, Lyle, are we good? I'll let you close us out. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Quick. To echo what he said, I would like to say a tremendous thank you to South Jackson Performing Arts Center for allowing us to have this great program here today. But we really appreciate their support, especially Sid back there running the electronics. Thank you, Sid, for all you do for us. I really appreciate it. As we dismiss, I just want to remind you again about the museum being open. Lunch for our veterans and their spouses will be available in the cafe area outside here. And one last thing I would like to mention with that is I was handed this folder right here just a few minutes ago, and these are letters for any veteran who would like one from students at our high school. And as you go in there to get lunch, or you're milling around visiting with friends and sharing a room with all of your fellow veterans, please take one of these letters, maybe two, and pass them around to each other. These are very important. I read a couple while I was sitting back there, and they are incredible messages that I think you will really want to hear. With that, I am humbled that you all came out today in this weather to join us for this program today. It is my great pleasure to have been your MC. I thank you all for your service and all that you do for us here in Tullahoma. And ladies and gentlemen, we are dismissed. Happy Veterans Day.
That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the ones who died and gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend your shield today, 'cause there